All right, breaking news, INEC on track and on course. Who defines that? Who knows the timetable? They've announced February 2027 as the day for election. INEC, Amopita seems to be working, though people were saying that information were very slow, but I think he's putting it on speed. He said he has submitted the timetable to the National Assembly. What do you think?
Well, when you say 20th February 2027 is the date for election, is that the only election? Maybe that's the main election that Nigerians are looking
at. That's the one we are looking at.
That's the one Nigerians are most
because that one is the one that now looks at, that controls every
other thing. 6th of March is also the date for election for the state election. You know, but that of 20th February 2027 appears to be the one Nigerians are most interested in, no doubt. So I think I queue behind you on that. Now, INEC has to be able to go up front on how they want to conduct this election. People are ready to know how they want to conduct this election. Even why the new electoral, and if you notice the setbacks, that's they allow deadlines for submission. Notice they were still observing that of Electoral Act of 2022.
Yes.
Because the new amendment has not come, to be a law yet. So INEC's timetable is now based on the same electoral law with which 2023 elections were conducted. So, but the modalities could change if this electoral law that they are amending comes to life. If they are able to put electronic transmission of results as the only means to do so, then INEC might be able to see change their method. But if they are not able to do that, we might still be left with what happened in 2023, maybe a kind of a modified version of it. That time it was a glitch, but now we don't know what it's going to be.
Okay, let's look at that timetable while we'll try to analyze it. Let's put up the timetable. INEC said, Philip, this is the timetable. Is starting on the 20th. From 20th, you have the presidential and the federal elections before we go to on the 6th of March, where we have the other election at the state level. What do you think about INEC?
You see, INEC, yes, the constitution is very clear. They were supposed to, put out a notice 360 days before the expiration of the sitting government, and that's what they have done. What they've done simply is complying with the provision of the constitution that required them to bring out a notice for 360 days before the expiration of the life of this government. There's nothing, strange about it. But going and for what he said and what is going on in our society today, we know that there's an amendment of the 2022 Electoral Act. And in that amendment, we're also privileged to have some provisions that reduce the 360 days to 180 days. I think what INEC has done here is that they shouldn't be caught up peradventure. The amendment didn't say true, and then they will now be forced short of meeting up with the 360 days. But I don't think that this timetable will be the final timetable for the election, because if the amendment say true and is assented to and it becomes law, then this timetable cannot fit into that electoral act. So therefore, yes, for now, this is the timetable. You claim that Amopati is working. Amopati has not done anything, extraordinary. He just complied with the provision of the law. We have not seen Amopati in action. The only thing we have seen from Amopati is that he told us that transmission of result is not part of the law. And that is not the work of INEC. But all the statement INEC made before the 2022 election that INEC cannot be held responsible, that is the work of the Senate. And we're in the Senate today waiting for the Senate to do the needful, and we're yet to get a reasonable result. So therefore, Amoputa is always, like he said, they're only following what has happened in 2022-2023 election. You see, that is going to be glitches or something different. But what we have now, and what we have been having, all the off-cycle election, it was worse than the 2023 general election. So therefore, we expect worse thing if the Electoral Act is not properly amended, and we go by this timetable. That's my take on this.
Okay, the expedition of the electoral law by the National Assembly is something that we should see. But this particular National Assembly seems to be docile.
Let me be clear. Nigerians are not careful or interested in this amendment going on. If electronic transmission of results is not there. They should just keep it. We'll go with Amobiton's timetable. There's no point. There's no point. Let me be clear. That's the temperature of the people out there. If the electronic transmission is not there, forget about the defenses they are putting off. That even in America, I saw where Reno Mokli was saying that even in America, where you have start times, election result is not written. In America, elections are not conducted by a central authority.
No.
Each state, secretary of state of each federation of each state conduct election according to their own law and submit to the central. That's why you have what we call electoral college. They meet several weeks after the election to adopt that. So it's a different method that we have here. We have a central location that one man can turn on and off. Glitch can happen and not happen. That is why we require the system that gives confidence to the people. There is nothing wrong when you are saying you want credible election. You are not attacking the government. I don't know why they made it APC thing. APC also wants electronic transmission of results. If you go to the publication of January 13, 2013 on Nation's newspaper, ACN of them were looking forward to have electronic transmission of results, electronic voting even, for 2015 election. That is the Nation and newspaper published it January 13, 2013. So it didn't start today. So ACN was what marched together with all other new PDP, CPC, and some fraction of Afghan the rest to become APC today. They wanted it too. So when you are saying I want a credible election, that's not attack on government. We also do not want people to be saying, oh, it was because of the glitch that made Tinubu to win. We want to be sure that Tinubu won. So the issues of credibility to government and things like that would not arise.
All right, Philip, does this timetable now definitely set the ball rolling for political parties to commence campaigning, lobbying, primary elections, and all that? How do you see the nation going?
Yeah, it signifies, you know, the commencement of the election. And as you can see from the timetable, the spare out went to submit form, went to do primary, went party to pick their flag bearers and the rest of them. What it means that the doors have been opened, the windows have been opened for political activity all throughout the federation, except states that are having obstacle election that they will not campaign for the seat of the governorship, but the House of Assembly and the National Assembly and the presidency are open. So what it means now that we are now in political circle proper by reason of this election timetable being released today officially by INEC. So we're in the political season.
We are definitely going to see some when I say adjustment, we already know that PDP is definitely not ready now. SDP the same thing, Labour the same thing. ADC has a lot of cases in court. The only one right now that looks set in all the political parties where we can get candidates from is APC. We're going to see an implosion because right now a lot of people are tending towards that APC. But what of the other political parties? They're unsettled.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, observed yesterday. We've never had it like this in Nigeria before, where the only opposition parties that are at peace today are the ones that it has not been rumored that P2B will use it, or Atiku will use it, or Amechi will use it. Immediately it is rumored that anybody is going to use that party, suddenly you are going to find 5 factions coming out of the place. I'll be shocked if ADC is left alone when they have 5 cases in court. I'll be really, really surprised if they are left alone. But that said, people going into APC, there's going to be implosion certainly. But what is going to be the alternative? What is going to be the alternative? If you don't have a sound electronic voting, or at least electronic transmission of the voted one, the signed sheet by the agents, the result sheet by the agent, how are you going to be able to win, the ruling party in a way? Maybe you contested, there is implosion, and decided to go elsewhere. There's not going to be opportunity. That is why APC primary is going to be a do or die affair, and it's going to create so much animosity within them, because when the fight is so high, investment into the primaries will be too high, and when you lose, the animosity will be there. You're hardly going to be able to come together to work against opposition if they exist. Maybe that's why they are trying to make sure that there's no opposition. So once you win the primaries, you are just as good as elected.
And if you don't win, you go and sit down.
Yes, you go and sit down.
Do you see people that don't win going to sit down?
I see it differently. Yes, they try to gag all the other political parties to ensure that when you lose the primary, you have nowhere else to go to. But that will not be the case, because whether you like it or not, this party you call mushroom political party, people will go there and take them and run with them. And this election, if they allow it to be free and fair, it's not going to be about the political party, but it's going to be about the person who is running for the office. And the person is going to be assessed by the people to say whether this person is capable of manning the office or not. So therefore, you see, this country is pregnant.
Okay, we have something on our screen showing in 2015 that ACN, that's Action Congress of Nigeria, wanted electronic voting, real time. Yeah. But all of a sudden right now, they merged, and from there we got APC, they merged with CPC, ABGA, some part of ABGA, and some other little political party to form APC. Now, they sing differently, they talk differently. How could that have been when they were the one agitating for this thing? So is it that when you get to the seat of power...
that's what I'm going. It's not in Nigeria, it's only when you are in opposition that you want the right thing done. Are we cursed? What's the problem? When you are in the position, you want the right thing done, you suddenly speak for the people, you suddenly know there is hunger. I saw an interview in 2012 where Asiwaju was talking about the people being hungry and how they control us from Abuja, this and that. And they suddenly don't believe that people are hungry today. So it's a question we have to ask ourselves, whether we are patriotic. That is why I kept saying this country, Nigeria, we have to be sure whether it is supreme in our hearts, and if national interest is above our individual interest. And I keep arguing with people that your individual interest is not even protected once there is no national growth. You can't be bigger than the boundary, no matter what you think.
Just finally, just some few words. Yes. Do you think the opposition are ready for this battle?
Well, from what happened at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport in Abuja yesterday, you can see some readiness in the opposition, because what happened at the Abuja airport yesterday was that the former Kaduna State Governor, Malam Nasir Rufai, returned from Egypt after he had been away for over 4 months, and the security agent tried to arrest him at the airport, but his supporters drove in and they ensured that they resisted the arrest. That look, they are proper and civilized way of doing this thing. This man is a known figure. You can send him invitation, and failure to honor the invitation, you can do otherwise. And it shows that, and they said that you cannot arrest our leader because he's opposition. Don't forget, El-Rufai was a member of the ruling party until in March last year that he defected to SDP, and that's where his problem started from. And I remember you mentioned yesterday when we were breaking that news to say that, the senator representing Edo North, when he was the national chairman of APC, did say that when you are APC, your sins are forgiven, and then you added to it to say that, and when you leave APC, your sins are
revived.
Your forgiveness is expired.
And they come after you. Yeah. All right, we'll be monitoring this situation at the INEC, bringing you all the details that we know real time. We'll be right back.